New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello, welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
I hate it when I get caught drinking.
I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil. And we're happy to have you here today.
Yeah. Okay, everybody take a big giant breath.
Big giant breath.
And just remember, it could be worse. I have to live with him.
Oh.
Okay, all right.
Shay's sending her condolences.
Good God. You know, Michael and I, our producer, we try to teach you. And you're just...
I'm not very teachable. No, just not. No. That's probably why.
Now, I told you, though, didn't I tell you, Gil, that broadcast professionals do not eat or drink on the air?
Right. I heard that somewhere. Are we on air? What's going on?
Yeah. It's hold it. Yeah, it's working.
It's on. Okay.
And if you'd like to follow the natural progression of this, you could click on that QR code and join us weekly and support our show. We'd appreciate it. So, all right. Welcome, Shay. We're so glad you're here. This week, we are talking about everybody plays the fool. Everybody plays the fool.
I think we've got a tense wrong there. I think it's plays, right? Rather than plays.
Well, but everybody's done it already.
Everyone's been played.
Well, we can talk about it when we get to that segment.
Okay.
But for right now, we're celebrating April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day, April 1st. Crazy. Can you believe we're in April?
No, because that would be the fourth month of the year. That means we've completed one quarter, 25% of 2026. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time is crazy. It's not stopping.
And I've completed 15 days, 16 days of my new age. So there you go. It's very exciting.
Well, I live in a world where there's no time and space, so I can't do the numbers like that. It just doesn't jive for me.
No, she can't. There are no time and space limitations on this one.
That's not a bad thing.
I didn't say it was a bad thing. I'm just commenting that it's true.
I heard the undertone. I heard you cannot hide from me.
Oh, well.
All right. Okay. All right. So, speaking of no limitations, what did you do this week that took you beyond your limits?
Took me beyond my limits?
Yeah.
Woo! Gosh. I cried the other day.
Mm.
Yeah, just because I was feeling upset and frustrated and sad and whatever. And it was weird. I mean, it wasn't weird. It was just that it wasn't like there was something in the moment that was happening. It was just sort of came up on me.
Yeah, crying is a good thing. Yeah, I did that this week. I haven't done that in a long time. I don't cry easily unless I'm watching movies or commercials. But And then I cry about everything. But I mean, about
30 seconds, she's crying.
it's true. Give me a good commercial, a good product, placement thing, and I'm all over it. But I cried. But also, I think that I think that the way you went beyond your limits is you kept showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, the crying's easy because it's part of the breakdown in a way, and clears the path for the breakthrough. And you kept showing up, and you keep showing up, and that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a big deal. And things are good, and things, as you well know, Robyn, things that are good are sometimes disconcerting to some of us.
Well, again, you're breaking a pattern.
Yeah, it's a pattern. It's a pattern.
Yeah. So
of being concerned that somehow the more it gets good, the more there's a possibility of something else happening or whatever it is. I don't even know, because to tell you the truth, I don't have that conscious thought at all. So, all of this is sort of this process of going, okay, so what's this feeling about, when it shows up. But then I went to the ball game last night, and we sat all the way through it and watched the whole thing. And it was pretty good.
Oh, she said y'all only cried once. Good for you, sister. If you're crying more, I think it's a great process. Yeah, I'm not sure we can really say once, but it was still new behavior.
Well, I can assure you that I only cried once in the shower. I can assure you of that.
Yeah, and it's baseball season, so he'll probably cry more.
Where's my wife?
I, on the other hand, am very happy. Yes, we did go to our local Isotopes game last night, which was fun. And the beginning of the season started where my team swept the Arizona Diamondbacks, which made me very happy. And I'm just excited for that. I like baseball. Baseball to me, and we should probably do a show on this, and you can listen to it, because baseball to me is like such a great metaphor for life. And it inspires me, and whatever. Anyway.
So remind me, how many runs did we get in the last inning last night? Did they get like 2 more runs or something?
Oh, okay. No, they
didn't.
It wasn't the last inning, so you're being.
No, I'm not talking about the other team. I'm talking about this team. Didn't we get a couple at the very end?
No.
Darn. Okay, forget that. I wasn't paying close enough attention. As per usual.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. And
was there a game happening while we were there?
Exactly.
You know what? I had a turkey leg, and it was really good.
You enjoyed the turkey leg, the nachos,
I've never had one of those turkey legs like that before. That was kind of a whole new experience.
The peanuts.
Oh, the peanuts were good.
My God, you were like a chipmunk. I've never seen anybody shuck so many peanuts so quickly. Anyway, it was fun. A good time was had by all, even though the team lost, but that's okay.
And a shout out to the fun ministry at Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living and Lisa Kerr for making it all happen and getting the tickets for us all. We had a nice, fun little group.
Yep.
And from different spaces and places. It was fun.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun things coming up. I just want to say. So you'll probably be hearing about them. But today, we're going to talk about April Fool's Day and where we've played the fool in our life. I know she has something to say. I can feel it, right? I can feel her relatability and her getting ready to bare her soul.
Well, and we're going to talk a little bit about like maybe where it came from and stuff too.
Exactly.
Get there? Okay, cool.
You want to talk about it now?
No, I want to talk about it after our good news and stuff and after we take our break.
Well, we're just talking about the day, so we could talk about the day now.
Okay.
And then we'll get serious. We'll get busy,
Because
everybody,
this is
after the break.
Yeah.
So how did it?
Fools is serious.
How did it? Okay. So April Fools, how did it get started? Where did it come from? And it's debated among many. It's the hello. It's mysterious, and we can't pin it down to just one thing. But we'll share a couple of them with you. Well, the most common theory is that it began in 1582 in France, and France switched from the Julian to the Gregorian calendar. And people who didn't get the news and kept celebrating the new year around April 1st were mocked as April Fools.
Oh.
So pranks included sticking paper fish on their backs, which was symbolizing their gullibility.
Gullibility.
Yeah. And
there's no gullets involved.
And then another theory comes from ancient Rome festival Hilaria. And some historians connect that April Fool's Day to Hilaria, that a joyful Roman festival at the end of March where people wore disguises and they mocked others. And this is a through line I found in all of these theories, is that they seem so mean to me. They're like always mocking and making fun of others. I'm like, gosh, no wonder it's carried down into the genes, like in some way. So you want to share anything?
Well, then there's the spring equinox concept, that since it was somewhat unpredictably spring weather, it's always fooling people every time it comes around, because you think, oh, it's going to be warm, and then it's not, or oh, it's going to be cold still. How'd it get so hot? That kind of thing.
It's true, and that's what our weather's doing, right? I
Right.
mean, all over the place. It's like people are like, oh, spring's here, and then it became like 90 degrees in the Bay Area where it's never 90 degrees, and here it was warm, and then last night it was raining, and all those kind of things. So
well, and today it's cool all day and cloudy, and then who knows tomorrow. So then there's medieval literature, and for those of you who studied Chaucer, you might remember the Nun's Priest's Tale. I don't remember that one in particular, but it includes a prank-like story dated around April 1st. And some think maybe this was, though many thought this might be due to a scribal error. So who knows? There's all kinds of different things. But yes, the through line is that it's a time when people had fun and made fun of the idea when you didn't understand something, I think, or couldn't figure it out. I think that's kind of what was going on with this. You thought the calendar was one way, and you just didn't ever realize that it had changed. It wasn't how they did it anymore.
yeah, and the other thing I think that I saw come up in a couple places was that the bottom line was that it was like rooted in the love of mischief and play, which I think is, we do like that on some level, but sometimes it goes overboard and it's mean.
Well, so that's what comedy is today, all the time. We say that we learn more, we can hear more when some part of it allows us to laugh, because it allows us to let go of our inhibitions, and we're able to acknowledge perhaps where we didn't understand, or acknowledge how ridiculous something appears to be when you just sort of look at it with a humorous perspective. And so, and as we know in stand-up comedy and other kinds of comedy, sometimes it gets a little mean. Sometimes people push the envelope. They're not really, they start making really putting people down rather than poking fun at what the obvious is, if you will.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And luckily, those of us who have been sarcastic in our lives have no idea what this is about.
That's what I was just thinking, I was contemplating as you were saying that, like how trying to figure out really the balance of what's mean
Mm-hmm.
and what's our perception of the truth on some level, but we're finding a place where we can laugh at it because it's so absurd.
Well, and I think that requires the somehow assessing where both parties are in that process. The party that's bringing forth the humor and the party that's on the other end of it. You know, for instance, we have a president who can't take any kind of thing that's said about him that he doesn't agree with. So he's upset by anything that someone says. Now, other people might take offense when it feels like it makes fun of something personal that maybe they can't change their gender, their whatever, those kinds of things that are different. But when we get in more relationship with people and we trust people, we trust that we begin to trust, as long as we don't break that trust, we begin to trust that the other person is pointing to something that could allow us to see ourselves in a more fun light. And you know, we all have stuff that we do that doesn't work. You know.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when someone else kind of points it out, we go, yeah, kind of right on that one.
That's true.
You know, but when we can be in that trusting relationship, we can do that. Otherwise, we'll put up a wall.
Yes.
So
yeah.
now,
So there's many angles to this humor and this mischief and this play and this comedy and all of that. And all of us have been fooled by something somewhere, sometime. Or have we? This is what we're going to explore after the break. But before that, we're going to tell you some good news. You got some good news?
I do have some good news. So what kind of a fool would transplant a liver from a 100-year-old person? Now that is ridiculous. This liver has been through so much. How in the world can we take part of that liver and place it in someone else? That's crazy. No, it's not. Because it's been done. And not only has it been done, the thing is, the reality is pointed out that your liver rejuvenates on average, completely reinvents itself on average every 3 years. So your liver is never more than 3 years old. So that's pretty incredible. So therefore, you're able to do that. So this story I found was about a World War II vet who became the oldest organ donor in the U.S. at 100 years old. Well, kudos to him, first of all, for not buying into all that stuff and being willing to do it when someone else needed it. And I think it reminds us that, you know, the things we think we know about how life works just are not always true. They're just not, you know. And there was a doctor quoted in there. It's like, there's no reason not to do something like that with certain organs in the body because of this process that they're constantly recreating through new cells being born and old cells being sloughed off. Interesting.
That is interesting. That is amazing. And the body is an amazing thing. And it's just so great to recognize it and really find that science is utilizing all that, I think.
Right.
So my story is about a teacher who wins $1 million for transforming Indian slums into open air classrooms. Her name, Robyn Nagi, she's an Indian educator, and she's just made amazing strides in transforming the lives of countless children by establishing over 800 learning centers throughout India. She's and they have a contest or a grant kind of thing that earned her $1 million for the Global Teacher Prize for education. And And that's where she got the $1,000. And she,
The $1 million.
I mean, $1 million. Sorry. It's only a number. No, the $1 million. So the learning centers are located in over 100 slums and villages, and they provide a safe, nurturing environment for kids to live and for kids facing all the things in India like poverty and child labor and early marriage and all of those things. And instead of seeing this as obstacle and insurmountable, she took a creative approach, starting to create these centers that offered flexible schedules for working children and promote hands-on learning with all kinds of recycled materials and um, just giving them tools and skills that would immediately benefit their family. And since she's done this, since her programs have been put into place, the dropout rates have plummeted by over 50%. The long-term retention of students in schools has seen remarkable improvement. And with her, the $1 million, she's establishing a vocational institute that'll be free for people with a digital literacy training program that is geared to aid billions of more young people from these marginalized backgrounds. And she began doing this in her early 20s when she was invited to lead an art workshop, and she encountered a child there that had never held a pencil. Can you imagine? That had never held a pencil. And that changed her life. That just changed her life. And she, over the past 2 decades, has successfully integrated over 1 million children into this kind of education system, and using art as one of her most effective tools. So it's amazing work, and just amazing what people can do when they are on a mission. So she's an author, and she's an author of a book called The Slum Queen, and she travels extensively throughout India, and she not only works with children, but she teaches teachers how to guide and mentor them. And she's trained and recruited over 600 educators, and I think that's just incredibly amazing work.
Meanwhile, she's done over 850 murals and sculptures that she's been hired to do, exhibiting her work in 200 shows worldwide and having stuff at the permanent collection of the President of India. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and it is
That's
just
in her spare time, I'm guessing.
Well, I think it's a great example of what happens when you follow your passion, because everything plays together, pieces together, and you not only have an impact on the world, but the world has an impact on you by allowing your art to be created and shown and shared and make a difference.
And I think the story is totally in line with the last one, because it's the same thing. It's somebody saying, no, the belief that you can't educate these people, you can't educate outdoors, you can't create in this environment, whatever that can't thing is. It's like, no, we need to look at this a little differently and figure out how to do it, but we can't decide that it's not able to be done. And that's what she did. She said, well, let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So there are amazing things going on in the world, and you can bask in that for a minute, because this is truly, what Rockin the Love is all about. It's the place where we show up and we share the love and we share the knowledge and we share the infinite possibility and all of that. So when we come back, we're going to share our perspective on everybody's played the fool sometimes. So don't go away. Stay with us, and we'll be right back here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Olmstead Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
We are back.
Hi, how are you? I'm Gil,
I'm Robyn.
and this is Rockin the Love. Come to you every Wednesday around this time, depending on where you are. And we chat about relationship and life. And so today, being April Fool's Day, we thought we'd talk about everybody played the fool.
Where we fooled ourselves. So April Fool's Day reminds us that the world has always played with illusions, but the biggest illusions aren't pranks or jokes or things that happen, to us, so to speak, like that. They're the stories we tell ourselves. So today we're going to talk about and explore the illusions we've believed, we've bought into, the ways we've been fooled, and how love brings us back to the truth.
Well, I think one of the things we should really touch on here is that our brain functions in a way that is actually illusion, in the sense that we don't process information in, we take information in and put it against what we already know, and then we fill in the gaps to make up a story about what we've just witnessed in terms of our outside world. And that's pretty crazy. That, our brains are set up to guess what's going on, to fill in any gaps that don't make sense. I love those crazy stories about the the person driving down the freeway and runs into the airplane that made an emergency landing and didn't see it because it wasn't supposed to be there. And so their brain did not register it because that couldn't be the case. So anyway, so it's interesting that we sort of come from that in terms of our physical makeup to some degree.
Right. Yeah. So I think, so where have we been fooled in our lives? And I don't mean that we're the victim, we've been fooled, but like, where have we bought into the illusion? And that said, it's all an illusion, right?
It's all an illusion.
It's all an illusion, but there are those things that we've been taught or learned that, like we, by believing that we're not enough, or that by thinking that love has to be earned, we have to do a certain thing to get a certain thing, that there's a certain way to get that,
or buying into some religious or other belief that says, certain people they're making decisions that are wrong and they should not be respected and honored. Mm-hmm. They should be, something else. And believing that puts us in a position where we can act foolishly.
Right.
It certainly has for me.
Mm-hmm. So what happens? What happens when we do that? When we believe a story that's not true? When we're fooled, so to speak? Because I think there's plenty of times like say you're thinking that something's coming from your intuition.
Uh-huh.
And it's really your story, your fear, your perception, your belief of what's going to happen because so-and-so said this is what always happens when you do this,
Right.
And so what happens? How do we?
Well, what happens then is we stop believing that we have intuition. And when we stop believing we have intuition, we've again been fooled. So we no longer listen to the voice that really can talk, really can offer us something, because we're afraid that it's just going to play something that shouldn't have, that we've kept in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really interesting conundrum there.
Well, this is the bottom line becomes we stop believing in the higher power.
Right.
We stop trusting in the one. We start believing that there's multiple things happening.
Well, and that it's all up to me in the sense that I have to understand it all and put it all together. In a philosophy of New Thought, we talk about we're responsible for our lives, but that's different than having to know how it's all going to work and figuring it all out and understanding it all.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's no other, if we stop believing in any other power in the universe, then that's kind of the position we end up in. And no one's going to be there, and nothing's going to be there, and
right.
So that's sort of a foolish road somebody could go down, in my opinion. However, there are others who would say that going down a road following a spiritual entity would be also a foolish road to go down.
Right. Right. Which is why it's all an illusion.
Right.
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 So I think that, I have two questions. What are the illusions we buy into? What are some of the common illusions we buy into?
We're alone in this world. I think that's one, that no one else is ever no one else understands what's going on in our lives because our life is so freaking unique that no one else can understand, the pain I'm in because I've lost 2 family members and my car was repossessed and no one else can possibly understand the pain of all of that.
And yes,
So I think that's one of the illusions we buy into.
I have to be perfect.
And I have to be perfect. That's another one. I have to be perfect. And so then I find myself not only trying to be perfect, but trying to convince others that I am perfect. While I'm trying to convince myself that I've actually acted in some perfect way. And by perfection, I mean completely going along. Well, I don't even know what I mean by perfection, so I'm not going to go there.
Well, I think that, and I have to be perfect. I think that trickles down from everybody does it. Everybody's better than me. Everybody knows how to do it better than me. Everybody, the everybody.
Which is sort of the other side of no one understands the pain I've been through. The other side is everyone else gets it and I don't. Mm-hmm. And often I think we run both of those at the same time.
Yeah. I don't think this is an exclusive one thing.
And those things, if you think about, that's where humor comes in because that's ridiculous. It can't be both ways, It can't be that no one else understands you and everyone else understands everything. Doesn't make sense. Go ahead. Because you're clearly.
I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure I want to go there. So, okay. Yeah, I think then another one is, I can't change.
Mm-hmm.
I can't change.
Mm-hmm.
This is who I am.
Mm-hmm. And we believe that, and that stifles us. We then don't do things that might allow for some of that. Well, and conversely, we decide that others can't change. And so we continue to treat them as if never allowing for something else to enter into the relationship, into the understanding.
Yeah.
And is it really, that's a one that's interesting, because is it really that we can't change? Or have we just been fooled by the wording? The reality is we don't want to change, but when we substitute we can't change, then it's not our fault.
Well, and I go to the place of, and do we need to change? Is there always something that you need to change?
Right. Right.
Maybe nothing.
Is it about change? Is it about accepting? Is it about
exactly
bringing forth your best rather than allowing the story to run you, kind of thing? It is a semantics exercise,
which is a slippery slope to another one that is my past defines me. So if you're living in my past defines me, then all of it is, you're looking for what you can change if somehow the past defining you is a bad thing.
Well, if my past defines me, then I don't have any control over my future because it's already been determined by my past. See, and the reality is your past has only brought you to where you are right now. Every move you make from here becomes your new past as you're moving forward.
But when we say something like that, it has a whole weight to it that sounds like, oh, well, my past defines me, like it's not good. So let's just say my past defines me and I've been incarcerated and haven't had a job and didn't have a good life. And I come out of that going, wow, that's not who I am. But that happened. And so what do I do with that information? And I turn it into something I write a bestseller about it. I teach kids going out into the system how not to get stuck in it. Whatever, you get it. I turn lemon into lemonades, right? So if my past defines me, then that could be a good thing as well.
So perhaps the fool part is assuming that good or bad, if you will, however you've judged your past, that having had that experience is guaranteed to be some kind of negative going forward, when in reality, or some kind of positive going forward, either one. It could define you, but that isn't necessarily, like I said, a bad thing or a good thing.
Well, and I think that's the crux to the whole topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's how do we it's because all of those statements we went, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
yeah, and we took the negative, but it's when we believe that it wasn't supposed to happen that way, or we could have had a different life, or somebody else has it better. And when we stop and just be with that it is just what has happened and what are we going to do with it, then it becomes, then we're not the fool, or we're not being fooled. We're stepping into creating a new paradigm and a new definition, and living that out in a new way, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, then we go to, what do we really mean by fool? I think at some level, like, is it, what is the issue with being fooled? Is it a problem? Does it matter? Or what does it really mean? Does it just mean we misunderstood something? Does it mean we looked at something totally different than someone else did? What does it really mean?
It's a great question. No, it is.
And I'm wanting you to answer it, please. Because I need help.
No, but I think, what's coming for me right now is that, all of these questions and all of these, I'm going to call them appearing, the illusion of stumbling blocks or boundaries or walls that we've come across, aren't they really just a reminder or a warning system? That's not the word I want. I'm not finding the words, but to remind us truly of who we are, to check in. It's like when you're holding your breath, and somebody goes, "Stop holding your breath, breathe," and you go, "Oh yeah, I forgot," And what if they're just the reminders, that you're right on target? And what are you going to do with this situation? How do you define it anew? How do you create it to be fuel for who you really are, for what you know is true? Because I think deep inside of us, we know, no matter what our education is, our experience, our faith, our whatever, there's a part of us that we hear it, we know that there's something we're here to do. And when we go back to that place and remember our source, then we can't really be fooled. Does that answer your question?
Sort of. But one of the things that came to me during that time was this idea of, when someone tells us a story and we believe the story, and the story is BS, okay? But we believe it. Does that make us a fool? Does that make us trusting? Does that make us, does that mean that we are trying to empower other people? What does it really mean? Right? I mean, I think oftentimes, you think of April Fools, it's people trying to get people to believe something that isn't, right? I mean, that isn't quite accurate, or do something silly, so that the bucket of water lands on their head because they thought there was something legitimate they were supposed to be doing. And so what does that really say about who we are when we trust other people? Does that make us a fool? And I think in some cases that's how people define fools, is that they're people that trust.
Maybe. I mean, I would say, yeah, I would differentiate between being a fool and being fooled.
Okay.
You know, I think that being fooled is if we go back to the power of one and we take responsibility, it's where we've let go of the truth on some level. So yeah, I can be fooled by certain circumstances and things that happen, but on some level I'm only a fool if I'm not trusting in the one and knowing all the things we talk about and know the qualities and the defining the definition of spirit.
Mm-hmm. Which takes us to the idea of when we step out and do something when the appearance is that that doesn't make sense, or the resources needed aren't there, or it's not the best idea, or whatever it is, but we, for whatever reason, we believe that it's good. We believe, we see beyond it. We step into our spiritual place. And I think people are often looked at as being fooled about how life works, kind of thing, when they do that. When you keep saying, I know it's all good, we're going to make it, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, but it's a both and. It's so individual for the person. It's so individual. I mean, yeah, there's many of people who have not stopped and conquered all and become, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and defied circumstances and, bounced watermelons because they didn't have basketballs and became NBA heroes and all of those things. And there's other people that probably bounced watermelons and didn't have the same results, And so were they following their true calling? Were they, committed and passionate? Are we committed to what we say? And I mean, for me, the ultimate commitment is truly, I think, being true to my mission and who my version of spirit is. So when my mission is to serve and to allow people to recognize the infinite potential within them through, creativity, the arts, by whatever means. So when I stop doing that, when I'm doing something for me that's not fun or doesn't resonate with that whatever essence of creativity and and love, then I'm not being true to it. Doesn't matter if I'm doing the exact same lesson plan I was doing the day before when I felt that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not coming from that place. So I think it's about being true to yourself. It's in my opinion, it's a fine-tuning thing where we've really got to know when and how we're connected to source. I mean, we're connected all the time. And do we listen all the time? No answer for me. No. I try. But do I? No. So that's my answer.
Interesting you brought up Bill Gates. I heard a story last night that he, in fact, was from here in Albuquerque and went to a local bank and asked for $1,200 at some point when he was getting his stuff off the ground, and they told him no. and he was nuts. And he left, and whatever else happened. So, was that somebody following their intuition for whatever reason? Maybe, where's the foolish part of all that? Is it, obviously Bill Gates went on to ask more people to make this work. And maybe those people were much more suited to support him. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
He listened. He didn't go, oh, well.
Oh, well.
And we can say that about, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. We could say that about, do you think that anybody went, oh, great, 100-year-old donor to donate a liver?
Yeah.
Yay. Ooh, good idea. No, but the person was passionate. They aligned with the medical team and that did the research that said, yeah, absolutely, this will work. The teacher, do you think that some people told her it was a good use of her time to go out and spend whatever resources she had to create these centers? No, but she listened, so how do we listen? When do we listen? And when do we stop listening? And that's, I'm going to guess, if you take a look at that, that's when things start to feel wonky.
So it's not really, everyone played the fool is really the concept that the more we embrace that possibility, the more likely we are to step into the truth of who we are, it seems like. The more we embrace the possibility that something we do or some belief we have, some opinion we have is possible regardless of what others think. So they think we're being foolish, but we know we see something beyond that. Mm-hmm. We almost have to embrace that part of ourselves and be okay being the fool. Be okay with people thinking that, others thinking that.
Yeah, exactly. So it becomes, can you really be the fool? Or can you be fooled? Can you be fooled? And I think when we get down to who can fool you.
Yeah, then it gets interesting.
Because at the end of the day, who can fool you?
Me.
It's your own brain, right? It's your perception. It's your memory. It's the past you've made up to have this great meaning. It's your conditioning. It's your family. It's your culture. It's what you learned along the way, from religion, from schoolwork, whatever. It's all of that. And then it's the fears that those have brought you, right? Because they distort your perception of the truth and reality and what you want to see, your desires, how you think it should look and what you want it to be. And, other people that want to see or don't want to see you succeed or think they know the best way. So at the end of the day, it's when we're separated from our inner truth, from our inner guide, that allows us to move in a way that isn't harmonious and conducive to what we're talking about, to being in the oneness.
So the only place we really end up being the fool, if you will, or being fooled, is via our own process. That's what I'm hearing you say. At some level.
I think certainly at the adult level,
yeah.
at that, when we come into a state where we are fully responsible for ourselves. Yeah. That's
and
what
so
I think.
That's like sometime after 40, right?
Well, there you go, folks. His math isn't good because he's way past 40. So I don't know.
Oh, and it still hasn't kicked in. Okay, thank you.
No. Yeah. I think obviously there's different, all those stages are.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, I think, all of that takes us different time, and, it's always a process, and there's probably always aspects of ourselves which are off the rails, if you will.
Well,
You know?
it's true. It's true. So today on this April Fool's Day, just be in the knowing, be in the truth. Don't be fooled by anything. You are amazing. You are wonderful. You are
Having a birthday.
if you want to celebrate Mr. Mangus's birthday, you can tune into his show on Friday night, where it's always a party. But whatever it is, you know, if you hear the voices within start to tell you any story that doesn't resonate with that truth and with that goodness and with that amazingness that you are, don't believe it. You are the love of God, and you are here on purpose. And we are glad you're here on purpose with us. So thank you so much. Thank you for liking us, for hitting the little heart, and for donating to New Thought Media Network. Again, you can hit the QR code, and if we can get some followers in there and doing monthly payments, then we will prevail.
It will
The
help us.
show will go on.
It will help us and the network as a whole continue doing what they're doing. And because, as you all know, money doesn't grow on trees. Okay, that's another assumption. I'm sorry.
All righty then. So on this April Fool's Day, have a good time, play, be mischievous, and we love you. Rock the love, everybody.
Rockin the Love. Thanks, Shay. Love to you.